G'day, how's going? In this video I will be painting a Chaos Legionnaire from the Bloodgorged, one of the devout Khorne Daemonkin warbands of Chaos Space Marines. This scheme consists of two main colours for the majority of the armour, being brass and red, and so I will be starting with a black primer before layering heirloom gold from two thin coats over the chest, power pack, thighs and forearms. Now this colour is very thin, but with the right consistency and a little bit of water, you should have a smooth solid colour by the second coat. Just make sure each layer dries fully before applying the next. After a solid colour was established, I used Reikland Flesh Shade from Citadel and gave a heavy wash all over the brass, being sure to guide it more into the recesses, but also allowing it to tint the flat areas too, so it tones down the brightness a bit. And I'd probably recommend leaving it to just one coat. It was more to take away a bit of that intense brightness without changing the hue too much because I didn't want it leaning into gold. Moving on to the red areas now, we're going to go for a very strong standard sort of middle red. So starting with Mephiston Red from Citadel, as with the brass, this will require a couple of thin coats before a solid colour is achieved. Layer this all over the shoulder guards, bolt gun, casing and lower areas of the legs. But again, don't rush, let each layer dry before moving on, otherwise you'll get some nasty looking broken paint streaks. And then for shading, I glazed Khorne Red from Citadel over the lower halves of the armour. To do this, you'll want to water it down, maybe 2 to 1 water to paint and remove as much as possible from the brush, and gently guide down to the lower recesses, gradually lowering the starting point with each pass to build up a solid, even transition. Again though, we are aiming for a mid-red, so try not to overglaze this or it will bring it to a more dark red look. 3 to 4 passes should do. Now switching to a smaller brush, we're going to use some black red from AK Interactive and gently run it into all the recess areas between the red and the trim. I recommend a little less water in this bit. You want it to stand out almost on the first pass, and be sure to get it even into the lighter red areas, not just where we finished the Khorne Red. Now to add a bit of neutral highlight to that red, I use Evil Sun Scarlet from Citadel and apply the same glazing method as the Khorne Red, but to the opposite ends of the red, so toward the raised areas. But as you can see, I also applied it over larger Mephiston Red areas where the colour wasn't as bright as I'd like it to be. So if you overdid it with the Khorne Red previously, in some areas bring the Evil Sun Scarlet further down and give it a few passes, it should brighten it up. It's important when glazing to apply thin amounts of paint gradually. Especially if not mixing colours, the jump can be pretty strong, but if kept thin, the strongest tones should only be where the brush last leaves the model. And lastly, to finish the red, I use some Demon Red from two thin coats, mainly as an edge highlight, but sort of in a thin, slight glaze method. So water it down and very lightly and thinly apply thin lines to the sharpest and brightest areas of the model. Now this paint is very close to Evil Sun Scarlet, so when glazed it shouldn't overly pop, but it will help define those extreme areas. Onto the silver trim, I used Dark Silver from Pro Acryl. Amazing paint this, definitely on the more bluey black end of silver, which is perfect for the scheme, and is also a very smooth paint. Very little water needed, but take your time, try not to disturb it once it's on, and apply a second coat if you need. There is a lot of trim on Chaos Marines, so go slow, take your time, and apply it all over the other metallic areas on the model as well. Now just like the brass, we need to tone down that shine of the silver, so I gave it a controlled wash of Nuln Oil from Citadel, running it over the more centre areas of the trim, leaving the edges mostly clear. This helped define the uneven surfaces of the trim and also act as an easy edge highlight method. After that, I moved to the rubber and leather areas of the model, which showed to be black in the artwork. So for this I based with matte black from Army Painter, then edge highlighted with dark grey from AK Interactive. Remember, with edge highlighting you want very little water in your paint just so it remains controllable. For the decorative chainmail and bolt gun, I personally wanted a brighter silver to give a little variety. You don't have to though if you don't want to, but I used oily steel from AK Interactive, and also filling in the bones on the model with Griffin Claw from Two Thin Coats, and the exposed bolt shells with Rusty Gold from AK Interactive. And after that, I then hit the same areas with a mix of Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade from Citadel. And that there is most of the model done. However, we just have a couple last touches to go, and one of these details was an eye on the right shoulder guard. I'm aware this isn't on all models, so skip if you want, but I thought I'd give it a kind of demon eye a go. So I blacked out the area with some matte black and then glazed over some Khorne red on the upper area. Then once that was dry, I used some Hellspawn red from Two Thin Coats in the same way, before lastly using some Fanatic orange from Two Thin Coats. I then carefully stenciled out a sort of pupil using some Uriel yellow, before filling that in with some matte black again. Pretty quick and simple design for if you want any angry looking eyes on your guys too. I then carefully filled in the eyes with some Trooper white from Two Thin Coats, before filling in with Scorpion green contrast paint from Citadel. Now the squad numbering system of the Bloodgorged is a variation of the Khornate Axe rune. So using some rubber black from AK Interactive, I carefully stenciled out a sort of primitive looking axe design, being sure to not press hard at all, being careful not to overwater the paint as well, and add to it with additional lines as I felt needed for the squad. And there you go. Another fanatic devotee to the blood god under the banner of the Bloodgorged warband. I never knew much about this warband until recently, and I like their lore, given they find the best offerings to Khorne being his brother's chosen legions members. Very chaotic and Khorne-like. But thank you for made it this far. I am always looking for requests for future videos. I currently have a couple in the works now from previous requests, so if you'd like to see something painted, feel free to leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.